Welcome to Manga Palate, the show where we watch things and then try to come up with a food analogy. I am one of your hosts, Pacicie Luna, here with my co-host.
Manga Chef Isaiah.
And today, on a very strange note, we have a guest, someone whom we will wish to refer to as Master Specialist Rashad Jones. Yay! Say hello.
Woo-hoo.
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Thanks for having me here.
The name is a gift thanks to the Wu-Tang name generator. Fun fact, our good friend Manga Chef Isaiah's name, thanks to the Wu-Tang name generator, should be Shrieking Madman, which, considering we all know him pretty well, that's like antithetical. I barely hear you say anything above how you speak now, unless you're laughing.
Yeah,
On the other hand, was gifted Vulgar Overlord, which is...
That's still a cool name, and it's fitting, too.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna get into that. Okay, so what did we watch this week, guys? We watched a show with a really long fucking name. 私がモテないのは考えてもお前らが悪い. Best shortened to Watamote, or as you might know it, that show where the girl is such a huge fucking weirdo. It ran from July 9th, 2013 to September 24th, 2013. And okay.
I don't like this show. I want to start.
It's a good show, but for all the wrong reasons. For people who recognize it.
Yeah, I feel that this is the kind of show where you either hate it or you love it, and the reason you hate it or love it is the same reason. It's either you really identify with this, or watching her fail time after time is kind of nauseating, or you recognize people like that, and you were never like that, so you find all her failures, despite of herself, kind of funny. As you can tell, our good friend Manga Chef Isaiah falls on the hate side of this argument.
Don't like this at all.
How could you, man?
You already know why.
I'm just saying, if you had that, like, sort of part of your youth, then yeah, it makes sense that you hate it. And that's also why this is probably going to be my favorite thing to do, and why we needed a guest, because all that's going to happen is Manga Chef Isaiah is just going to say, nope, or like, I don't know, I couldn't. It was weird. Versus I, on the other hand, am laughing every 3 minutes. So we needed a happy medium. To that end, we invited a good friend, Master Specialist Rashad. And you know what? Let's start talking about, let me drop some of the information heads up. The protagonist, I guess, is Tomoko Kuroki, who's voiced by Izumi Kita, who I know as Cordelia from Tante Opera Milky Holmes, and she was also Misaki on that show Card Fight Vanguard, which is why my friend knows her so well. He's also the German lady Freezing, Cleo. Her brother, who is Tomoki Kuroki, is voiced by Yuichi Nakamura, who is the cross-dressing idol Ringo on Uta no Prince-sama. He's the male lead on Clannad, Tomoya. He's Gray on Fairy Tail, and he was the brother Kyosuke on Ore Imo.
He played another brother part you're forgetting.
Yeah. Go ahead, do it.
He was the be-all, end-all Karamatsu from Osamatsu-san.
He is the worst of the brothers, and therefore my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
God, I love that Osamatsu-san just randomly picks, hey, you're gonna come here. I know you're famous and popular. People like you. You're gonna do this now. Like Shonomatsu and fucking Daisuke Ono being on the... Oh, God. No, let's not go off on the tangent.
We'll save that for another time.
Yeah. Megumi Imae one of her little classmates. It's it's the girl who's in the year above her who actually really likes her. Is voiced by Ai Nonaka.
I think it was Imae or something like that.
That's what I said. Yeah. Megumi Imae.
Yeah.
She's voiced by Ai Nonaka, who also did Kafka Fuda on Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, which is mostly for me. And she also voiced Kyoko, the red-haired girl, on Madoka. Yeah, I'm only just kind of listing off the things people would probably know, because, boy, I know other stupid bullshit things no one cares about, like Jewel Pet. Anyway, her best friend, Yu Naruse, is voiced by Kana Hanazawa. Come on, Isaiah, you should know that name. Tell me if you recognize that name.
Sounds familiar.
Ah, god damn it. I've done it before. Remember? No, she's Megumu on Gaworare. Dr. Onodera Nisekoi and the snake girl Nadeko on the Monogatari thing.
Yeah, I should have known that.
Her mother is voiced by Risa Hayamizu, who was the teacher on Gokusen, and is on Gintama as the lady with the gun, Matako, which I find it funny that the samurai thing has a lady who just has handguns for some reason. I haven't really watched it, but knowing this now kind of amuses me. Her cousin is Kiko, played by Rie Kugemiya. Isaiah, you better know that fucking name.
Pause for dramatic effect.
Come on.
Ria. Nope.
Rie Kugemiya.
No.
For God's sake. This is the one that I expected you to remember because of how often we talk about the music she's done. She was Mizore Shirayuki on fucking Rosario to Vampire.
Yo, and she's pretty much voiced about almost every notable. Actually, the three most notable tsunderes.
Yeah.
In the entirety of the medium.
She's also Iori on fucking Idolmaster. She was Alphonse on fucking Full Metal. We talked about this. I'm not. No, it's fine. It's fine. And that's pretty much it for principal people who show up a shit ton of times. Beyond that, it's all just background characters. Because honestly, the only person we follow hard is Tomoko. Best. I often call her by the nickname she's given in the series, Mokochi, because it's just funny. The opening theme is actually named the name of the show and the name of the manga. It's sung by Konomi Suzuki, who's best known for entering the Anisong competitions and stuff, and actual weird metalcore / post-hardcore band Kiba Akiba. Which, they actually have a lot of cool, interesting things. They not too long ago did a split EP with Baby Metal for some reason, where they covered the Baby Metal songs. It was like, oh, that's interesting. The ending theme is Do Kangaete mo watashi ga warui nankanai. Which, Jesus Christ, girl, why every song on this, or even kind of vaguely mentions is, fuck you, it's not my fault. It's your fault. You suck. It's not. Do you want to explain what the show is, Isaiah? Come on.
Sure, I could do that.
Let's do it.
The only thing I want to say about this fucking show.
Yeah. Cause there's nothing for you to say. You got too much.
Okay. The show is about Makochi and her high school life. Basically, she sucks at talking to people, or doesn't understand that people aren't the worst as she imagines it in her head. So she goes around every episode thinking oh, this girl's such a slut or something. And she ends up bullying herself and not paying attention to the world, and she's the worst.
She's awful, and I love it.
Socially. So yeah,
she is
pretty much the formula for every episode.
The girl is a dumpster fire, and I love watching that fire burn. The first episode opens with her looking up the definition of a slang term people use, and going all right, define a girl who's a loser. She's never been asked out by a guy. She's pure and untouched. She's not very interested in fashion. She looks at that, she goes nah. no. There's stuff going on with me. I've spoken to guys at least, I don't know, 6 times in middle school. Holy shit.
Oh boy.
And she says, and I quote, 1 out of every 3 times I dropped an eraser, a guy would pick it up. So, basic human contacts. That's enough. That's me. I'm successful. Fuck you.
Hearing that shit in retrospect is just wow.
Yeah, and it's like she's telling this to herself to convince herself that she's not like awful. Which I don't really think being socially awkward makes you awful. I think the reason she's socially awkward is what makes her awful. Because it's not to say that she's socially awkward, because she stumbles over her words or anything. It's that, like, she has this horribly pessimistic view of everyone around her, which in turn leads her to think the worst of people, and then that chokes up everything she's trying to do, even though she's still trying to vie for some sort of self-gratification as a result of their acknowledgement of her being. So, like, there's a part where fucking a girl just says, hey, want to go do karaoke? And they're like, yeah, let's go do karaoke after school. And in her head, she just goes like, what a fucking slut. What a weird girl crazy bitch. Yeah, and you know what? And guys who like girl crazy bitches, like, don't even matter anyway. So, like, if I'm alone, like, it's fine. It's fine by me. And then, like, she instantly upsets herself with that in and of itself. Jesus Christ, this girl. And she just, like, starts, shit. This girl's nuts. This girl's nuts. She annoys her younger brother at one point where she just comes up to him and says, hey, I want you to hang out with me and help me get better at talking to people. And he's like, fuck, I don't really want to do that. How long do you expect me to do this with you? And she goes, I don't know, till, like, I get a boyfriend. He goes, so, like, that's going to be the rest of my life, isn't it? She goes, like, nah, it'll take, like, a month. And it's like, I don't know what part of you believes this will be solved in a month when you can't even look people in the eyes. Oh, shit. That part where she's just listening to, like, the drama CD of Yandere Boys as though they're talking to her. And she's just, like, lying on her bed going, like, yeah, this is what I wanted. A guy who's really creepy telling me that he'll kill me if I leave him. It's like, Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you, girl?
That activity in itself, man. It becomes a regular occurrence if I remember.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, I mean, like, there's that part where she goes to a signing for a voice actor.
The voice actor, yeah.
And then she,
he asked her to, like, record some, like, totally bodacious lines towards her, calling her a bitch and whatnot.
Yeah.
She just went nuts over it when she got home.
Oh man, she just put that on her headphones and, like, just fucking lied there, getting in. And then her mom was like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "I'm fine. Leave me alone." Holy shit! And it was like, it's like supposed to just, you could ask him to say one thing, and she gives him like a fucking paragraph in one sentence separated by semicolons.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, say you love me, but then also call me a sow and say you're gonna beat me. It's like, whoa, holy shit, girl. You got some dark stuff going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
And you can tell, like, the voice actor who was in the actual episode was being so professional, as they're known to be, because he just accepted it all with a straight face. He's like, "That's all you want me to say, right?" And I'm
like,
what?
Yeah, he just sits there and goes like, all right, cool, got it. And then he says it all. And she's and like the people behind her are like, what the fuck was that? That's so fucking weird. But like, it's kind of, it's one of the few things she has, so she didn't really want to let it go. It's like, nah, I need this. You remember when she goes to hang out with her friend from middle school? Do you remember what her first thought was?
Jesus, slut.
No, not when she sees her. Before she sees her. They're talking and they're saying, hey, we want to hang out. She's like, dope. Do you remember what she was thinking?
That she was still like a nerd from middle school or something like that.
It wasn't exactly that. It was a little more angry than that. It was like, yeah, I'd love to hang out with her. She's like the only person I feel I looked better than. It's like, I love hanging out with this girl. She makes me feel better about myself. And then when she sees her and she's all pretty and dressed up, she goes like, what the fuck happened? This is bullshit.
This is not what was supposed to happen.
This is not cool. Fuck. Alright, whatever. No, she's still kind of my friend. Why is she wearing such a short skirt? What's going on there? I was like, just relax. Relax. She got dressed up. Relax. It's not the end of the world, is it? Jesus Christ. And then, like, at the end, when they stop hanging out, and it's like, oh, I'm going to go now. She was like, hey, I want you to do your best. And then her friend, like, just gives her a moment and goes like, I'm glad we're friends. I don't know why I was worried about such stupid shit. I got into a fight with, like, my boyfriend, and then Mokoshi just shuts down. She just dies. Because she's like, this bitch got a boyfriend before me? Fuck you. Whatever. Fuck it. Whatever. Like,
and just that information alone, she automatically came to the conclusion, like, yeah, this bitch is a slut. She getting fucked and all that.
I remember when there's the two girls, there's a couple on the stairs, and the guy's like, hey, you want to go do something? And she's like, yeah. And then, like, Mokoshi contemplates looking up her skirt, and then goes like, nah, it's not because I'm gross. I just want to see what the panties of a girl with a boyfriend is like. And I was like, what the fuck? That's amazing. You're wild. You're crazy. Holy shit. And then that time...
Is the events of this, like, driving you to silence? Because you haven't said anything.
He genuinely has nothing to say because this is all so uncomfortable for him. We talked to, like, I remember when, because we're alternating weeks, so he'll pick something, I'll pick something, and I was like, I don't know, I kind of want to pick Watamote, but then I want to pick Shuffle. And it's like, I'd pick Shuffle, I wouldn't watch Watamote. I'm like, then I guess I should pick that, because there's no other time this will ever come up. I know for a fact the first time this show came out, or I was talking about the manga nonstop, like, he just couldn't handle it. He was like, oh, that's like, no, that's awful. I'm like, I don't know, man. I find it funny because the only reason she's failing is because of her. It's because normally what happens is, like, you could have an antagonist, like in shoujo manga, where, like, a girl is getting picked on or some shit, and you could say, oh, it's the other girls who are shitty, and deep down she's a good person. But, like, Mokochi's the most bored culture person I've ever felt. Like, she feels like a person I know hanging out on V or fucking any other board on 4chan. Like, one of the less talky boards, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, when she would call someone a loser and a fucking, like, a Ryaju for whatever show they happen to watch.
Like, hardcore subreddit sites, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, so it feels so much like that I just find it funny that she doesn't know how to fucking react with regular people. Despite the fact that every time she thinks, all she thinks about is trying to interact with regular people. But then also downsizing them to sort of make herself feel a little better about not being able to talk to people. I remember, I think it was the first episode where, like, she leaves school and she hasn't really spoken to anyone all day. And then she says goodbye. All she says is goodbye to a teacher. And the teacher goes like, yeah, have a nice day. And she just starts sprinting and goes like, I did it. I succeeded today.
Hey, Rashad. I explained the show, so I did say something. So yeah.
Fuck you! I said
right, yo.
This is my victory.
Right when I mentioned he didn't say anything, and as soon as you're talking about how she said goodbye to the teacher, he wrapped it around, saying like, "Yeah, I explained something. Check out that analogy right there." Huh?
Yeah, I did say something. I win. Jesus Christ.
Oh, this is great. This is great so far.
Yeah, but she has a shit fit because, like, she thinks someone took her umbrella, and she just, like, starts going on and on about she's gonna fucking kill everybody whoever stole an umbrella, and like they have no respect for other human beings, and she'd execute them all, and like just a very long-winded monologue about hurting people for taking her umbrella. And she looks over and goes like, "Oh no, wait, there's my umbrella," and then all that goes out the window.
Oh man, her interactions with like other people whom she assumes is like, you know, less socially interactive than she is the best.
Yeah. Her need. All right. Do you remember that guy that like also didn't do the stupid art class project?
What's his name? Because he's voiced by Tomokazu Sugita.
Yeah, you knew.
Yeah.
Recognize that voice? That's it, boy. I said, do you remember that name?
He was the only one who didn't do the art project, and after minutes of just sitting there in silence, he decides like, "You want me to just draw you?" And she just has like a huge ass soliloquy. She's like, "Oh my god, he wants to draw me."
Oh man, that part where she's like, "Does he want to go out with me? He's kind of fat." Like every other time she talks about him, she calls him fatty. She's like really mad at him for nothing. She goes like, "I bet he's gonna jerk off or something." That weird fat fuck
shit later.
Oh man, and he just like speeds through it. And he's like, "I'm out."
And he just like speeds through it. He draws it, not because he thought like, okay, it might be different to like make a portrait or something. No, only because it was her drawing her portrait was the easiest thing he could do just to get the class over with.
Alright, so there's in the show, like he draws it really fast, he leaves it and he takes off. And then she looks at it, and then when she gives it to the teacher, she goes, "Can I copy that? Like, can I get like a scan of it?" But do you remember what they say in the manga when they show the picture of it?
Oh crap, I forgot. I forgot.
Alright. So like it's like a really generic kind of cute anime thing, like a moe thing. And then it cuts to him in the guy Hatsushiba in the manga club, and then it like there's like a bunch of girls with the same face that he drew in the Mokoshi portrait. And he was like, "Dude, why do you draw that face all the time?" It's like real easy. I don't fucking have to think about it. Holy shit!
Oh,
that's so brutal.
Did they show that in the anime? I don't remember that part.
No, they didn't show that in the anime. That was in the manga. That's what I remember from the manga. That shit
makes so much sense.
When she's like, "Oh God, he must have drawn me okay. Maybe Fatty's all right." And I'm like,
"Nah, he just drew that face because it's the easiest one to draw." And
he could just fucking peace out.
Oh my god. That's the best.
And the fact that she
was good.
She doesn't even consider calling him by his name. She just calls him Fatty the entire
time. Just calls him Fatty.
Holy shit. It was amazing. Shit.
And we can't forget the goodness that is her cousin. Her cousin.
Yeah.
Ki-chan.
That's so good.
Let's talk about Ki-chan, though.
Yeah. Okay. So, basically, she has a younger cousin who she convinced, that Mokoshi convinced that she has a boyfriend. She was like, "Hey, little Ki-chan, I have a boyfriend." So sometimes when you see me with, like, weird spots and stuff, it's because, he lift hickey. So I'm so sexually active. Me, the 15-year-old girl. And so then eventually Ki-chan shuts up and she goes like, well, no. Her mother says, "Hey, Ki-chan's going to be over the next week." She's like, "Okay, what do I do?" She's like, "Also, don't forget to clean your room." She's like, "Yeah, Mom, whatever, fuck. How do I do this?" And then she looks at the vacuum cleaner and goes, "Maybe." And she puts after trying to suck on her own arm and then realizing how stupid that is, she grabs the vacuum cleaner and like puts it on her arm and then does the suction thing and then leaves a little bump, and she goes like, "That kind of works." So she starts putting it all over her body in these weird like circles because it's a fucking vacuum cleaner. And then she like goes, "Hey, I mean, if it's able to suck like lips, I wonder, what if, I don't know, maybe it just..." And she puts it to her mouth, and she almost fucking suffocates because it's a goddamn vacuum cleaner. Why would it's like sucking the air out of her. She's freaking the fuck out. Her mom comes in and just goes, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And like takes it off, and then she calls her mom a bitch who doesn't understand anything. And then her mom just slaps her shit. To which when Ki-chan comes in like a day or two later, everything is still kind of there. She's like, "Hey, Tomoko Nesa, how's it go?" Oh. And she's just covered in marks and the big slap mark on her face. And she goes like, "Hey," she's like, "Oh, no, like, this is, like, my boyfriend. It's cool." And then Ki-chan just looks at her and goes like, oh, domestic violence is sad.
Oh, God.
You wanna do the library thing? You do it. I fucking...
The library thing? Oh,
yeah,
boy.
When she takes Ki-chan to the library.
Okay, so, there was this part where she basically takes her little cousin to the library, and crap, I forgot. Oh, hold on, give me a second. She takes her to the library, and I think they go on for like searching for a book or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then like there's this part where she's I think she was talking to either the this guy or the couple all together. Which one?
She was talking to the guy.
Yeah,
and then the other girl comes in.
And then the other girl comes in, and then I think she had like the thought like, oh man, she's probably gonna think I'm flirting with him or something like that. And then as soon as Ki-chan comes in, she just sees her on the floor bowing her head in apology, saying like, I'm so sorry.
No, dude, it was better than that. Because what happens is she says hello. Like the guy goes like, "Oh shit, aren't you Kuroki? What are you doing here?" She's like, here, cousin." Nah. And he's like, "Cool, whatever." And then he like leaves. And then like Ki-chan goes over and goes like, "Who's that guy?" And that's when Mokochi goes, "That's my boyfriend. Remember the boyfriend I was telling you about? That guy, that's him." And she goes like, "Really?" Because he seems really close to that other girl, and then Mokochi turns around, he's hanging out with the girl, and goes, "Fuck. Oh, shit." And then, like, after a while, Mokochi, she goes like, "I don't know. I think she's, like, really close to that guy." And he was like, "No, it's cool, it's whatever." And she was like, "I'm gonna go to the bathroom. You stay there, okay?" And she was like, "Okay." She goes to the bathroom, she comes back, and Ki-chan is talking to the guy, and the first words out her mouth is, "I don't know if you're cheating on my cousin or not, but you should stop." And the guy goes like, "What the fuck? Who are you?" And the girl goes, "Do you know who she is?" He goes like, No, who the hell is this kid?" And that's when Mokochi runs in and goes like, "I'm so sorry. Oh god, please forgive me." Mind you, none of this has been explained to Ki-chan, so as far as she understands it, a girl is her older cousin who she admires is apologizing to her boyfriend for cheating on her.
Mm-hmm.
Which is when Ki-chan just goes, "Oh, you're sad. You're okay. You're like a sad, broken puppy."
Like a sad little puppy.
Oh shit.
Oh man! And then like from then on, she just like from like her appearances in the manga, she just like grows increasingly disappointed in her and just like starts to take more pity on her. Damn. The more I think about like the symbolism of this anime, it just depresses me, man. None of it's her fault, but it's kind of her fault.
I feel that it's mostly her fault, honestly. If she wasn't horribly pessimistic about things and willing to just actually talk to people, then she would see that everything's not fucking awful. But part of it just kind of assumes that everything's gonna be awful, so it becomes this weird self-fulfilling prophecy. Mm-hmm. Also, she needs to compare herself to everybody, which you really don't have to do. You're your own person. What you like is what you like. And you don't really have to upset yourself with whether or not people like it or don't like it. And as a matter of fact, in the manga, as we are up to date now, she has friends now. She has people who
like her. She has more than friends. She has a fucking harem.
She's like fucking 17 people. And like 3 of them seem very into her for like no reason. Well, I think my favorite one is the girl who's like, "I'm not a lesbian. You're a lesbian. Why don't you pay attention to me, you fucking lesbian?"
Oh, is that the like the emoji girl? Or...
Yeah. Literally nothing. Yeah. I fucking man. Like, it's not to say that she can't grow past it or that she can't develop as a human being. It's just, as far as the show is concerned, because the show only goes to like what, 30, 40 chapters? Not like even that far. So the manga's at like a couple hundred chapters now. So it's really not that much of a leap to say that over time she can develop into a more rounded human being. But so much of it is predicated on her just being a fucking disaster that it never ceases to be funny. I can see your point to like, I don't know if it's all her fault. I think that part of it, like at least the majority of it is, like when she doesn't talk to guys, it's because she's anxious. Mm-hmm. But if you realize that they really didn't seem to give a shit, it wouldn't be so hard to just say hello.
Mm-hmm.
And from saying hello, you can start talking a bit more. She has this weird preconceived notion that people who are amicable automatically have to be sluts or like fucking or something, which is like, the attitude of someone who's out of the loop, you know,
Yeah,
and just
that's
assume.
just like, just the base thought of any like pessimistic person.
Yeah.
They automatically put themselves down when looking at other people, or they
Well,
just think like the possible worst image of somebody else.
Yeah. Well, see, like that's why I was saying she reminds me of board culture kind of people. Like like incels who say all that shit about like all those Chads and Stacys, like all that kind of shit. Where it's like I don't know if it's so much that people are awful, so much as you're being awful to them, or not even considering speaking to them, and in turn the prophecy that you set for yourself that I'll always be fucking up continues. If you just kind of tried and accepted that, hey, not everything will work out, but things not working out isn't the end of the world, then it'd be all right. Because she did have friends in middle school. It's not to say that she couldn't talk to people. She was just really awkward about it. And now in the manga, where she's in high school and she's like in her second or third year, that she's talked to people, she does have friends. Like Yoshida treats her like a daughter. It's weird, yeah, but it's a fulfilling friendship nevertheless. They buy each other gifts and shit, and they hang out. It's not impossible. It's just she just thinks the worst of everyone, so it makes it impossible for her.
Mm-hmm.
And to that end, I really think it's just. I don't know where that pessimism comes from, but like it's there. When I was around like younger, I wasn't that kind of pessimist. I was more of a like existential nihilist of nothing matters, so fuck it, just go wild. And that led me to do some really mean and fucked up shit. So it's funny, they're like, whereas she acts more like a bullied person, I was a bully. So that's probably another part of why I don't really get the whole thing, as into why you would care so much about what other people think about you. Because I always figured it was more like, look, you're you and I'm me, and I think you're lame, so what does it matter? You could think I'm lame.
It
doesn't really
through it out, not really caring about what other people.
Yeah. But her, on the other hand, she really, really wants someone to think she's cool and nice. I remember there's that part where she says, where the two girls are talking about how they don't study, and then she goes like, yeah, and I'm going to do great on the test, and it's going to be like, and then she imagines herself really like looking different, like taller, more statuesque, and then like having people come over going, oh, you got that question right? How did you like get it right? And like, I don't know about you, but in my experience, I've never had people do that. Like, have you ever seen anyone go up to somebody who like is really good on exams and then go like, please teach me? I've always seen it's more like, oh, wow, all right. I've never really seen people ask for help like that.
I've never seen that go on before, nor have I like experienced myself. Because back in those school days, I considered myself a good test taker, and even after people noticed that I got questions right that they got wrong, I never had somebody come up to me and say like, yo man, can you teach me how to like properly study on the test, or can you show me how you got that answer right? They just didn't care.
Yeah, same thing. I always got like really high grades in school and shit, but like no one came up to me and was like, hey, so could you like help me out with this? Like no one ever did that. They just kind of were like, wow, how'd you do well? And I just go, I don't know. I like understood it,
I did.
Because
I went to somebody.
Oh, you went up to people and asked them for help?
Yeah.
Did anyone else do it, or was it usually just you?
It was just me.
Yeah, okay. So it is kind of rarer than I would have thought. Yeah, because the way she imagines it is to make it to say, like, everyone does that.
Right.
But, like, I've never seen it. So the fact that you did it says, all right, one out of all three of our life experiences has seen that at all.
I mean, you can make the argument that people would normally react to the way you score on a test, depending on the image that you portray to other people. Like, if I were like the straight up nerdy type, I'm talking about like creepy, Urkel type shit. And if I were to constantly score hundreds on every test, and everybody saw that I was constantly getting high marks on each test, nobody would really come up to me saying like, oh, can you really like teach me, how you did that? Because you seem pretty smart. You got the whole, smart Alex thing going on. Nobody really go up to me. They were saying like, oh, he's a nerd. That probably comes natural to me. That probably comes natural to him. I don't gotta worry about that type of shit. But
yeah, I never really portrayed myself as smart or anything. All the shit I did with my friends was stupid. Like we'd throw each other off of we'd like, hey, you playing on this trash can. The other two of us are gonna whip it across the room. Like just dumb shit. Yeah. So like I don't know. I never really felt that I fit any sort of bizarre stereotype like that. Did the guy you asked, was he kind of like that?
Yeah,
like really
he was
quiet and more to himself and shit. Like Hollywood.
I would say he was like a middle. It was more like he's trying to be social and stuff, but most of the time he just studies really hard.
Yeah, I haven't studied a day in my life, honestly. I only say this because I don't know, I was just really good at academics for some weird reason. And it's not to say that I'm awful at explaining things. I just never had anyone come up to me and ask for explanations. What I had was something completely different, which is people would come up to me with random questions, and then I would answer them. Sure, I knew the answer, but that didn't stop me from getting weirded out. Like someone would come up to me and go, hey, tell me, is there an octopus that's poisonous? And I'm like, yeah, a blue ring octopus is native to Australia, and it fit inside your shoe. And like, cool, and they just left. Well, and I'd go back to doing something practicing guitar, or making dumb jokes with my friends. I don't know why that happened. It felt to me like everyone just assumed I knew everything, but I never had anyone come up to me for help with class or anything. They would just ask me dumb bullshit.
Yeah, you never gave that impression to other people that you knew all these things.
I also don't know where they got the idea that I knew fucking everything, but I don't know, that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This girl is a hot mess.
Yeah.
Can I just say, when the manga came out, right? It dropped its first tankobon, more orders came from outside of Japan than in. And I remember that because there was a page in the magazine that was being printed in at the time where they go Watamote is so big over in the West. For some reason, foreigners can't get enough of it. And then it's a drawing of Mokochi with a bubble that goes someone likes me. Oh, and I'm like, that's oof. That's, I didn't know that. That's interesting. And I guess because so many people connect to this weird board culture girl. And like I said, when I talk to people about it, it's either they love it because they think all that shit is kind of wild, and some people get off on cringe humor. I think of it as Schadenfreude on my part because I never really was like that, so to me it's just kind of funny. Versus other people who hate it because they identify too much with it and it makes them feel weird at seeing someone else go through all those experiences. Mm-hmm. So knowing that more orders of it came out over here in America and Europe than over there in Japan was kind of interesting to me.
I did not know that. I did not know it was popular over here.
Dude, I remember that. That's for a while, if you went on 4chan and shit, there'd be people doing pictures of her and then saying all types of shit on A. I think my favorite thing was that a lot of people, which is more of the camp I am in on this part, is they felt like they needed to help her out, and if they had met a girl like that, they would ease her up and go look, this is how you talk to people. Just I'm gonna help you get it together, which is more probably what I have done when I went out with a girl who was a lot like this. Which is also probably another part of the bias that I have towards this. I used to go out with a girl like this. It was fucking amazing to just watch her do what she does. Watching her play on the DS and then say some really vile shit apropos of nothing. I'm gonna kill you, you fucking slut. And I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? And I'd be watching her playing Mega 10-4. And I'm like, what about this game set you off like that?
How is it driving you to these violent outbursts?
I don't know. It was wild. I don't know. I just remember that. I feel that also gives me another layer of bias towards liking it. Besides the whole shot of watching her be a failure and fuck up, it makes me laugh. Okie dokie. So, I mean, anything else worth mentioning? I remember the part where she says, I'm going to activate my stealth mode because she forgot her notebook. And she's just kind of sitting there. Nothing really changed. She just sits there. And when a professor comes over, he goes hey, why don't you have your book out? She's like, I I don't have it. He's like, did you ask a friend? She's like, my friend forgot her book. I was like, okay, well, why didn't you ask your neighbor? I mean, I didn't. Hey, buddy, you over there, can you lend her your book? And he's like, yeah. I just hear her kind of like sniffle, like she's really really upset. And I'm like, what part of that upset you? That someone else had to talk to someone for you, or that your stealth system failed?
Why are you forcing me to have social interaction with someone I don't even know?
Well, I remember in the manga when like the fucking gym teacher did that because like everyone had to pair up for stretches, and it was
man, the gym
like,
teacher
fucking
had it out for her. I remember that.
I don't even think she hated her. I think she
No, I don't mean like at that, but she noticed how she was always alone, and she would always try to like enthuse her into getting into like, you know, just talking to more people, and you know, it would have like this disastrous effect whenever she would try and do that. Like the gym teacher did that.
Yeah, go on.
Wait, were the gym teacher and the home teacher, they weren't the same two people, right?
No, two different people.
Yeah. And her homeroom teacher did that as well. She tried to like have her make friends as much as possible. Like I think I think it was like one part she tried to get her to play tennis.
Yeah.
That shit just ended in failure because, you know, she just kept getting pissed the whole time. It's like, why are you having me? I don't even play sports. This is not my
least
thing.
athletic person.
Yeah.
She's like horribly unathletic. Because she doesn't do anything.
And then there was the tennis part, and oh shit! You remember when the teacher found her brother's dick on her phone?
Oh yeah. Oh shit! She has a weird relationship with her brother, and it's not even that like she's like creeping on him. It's more that she's like you're my only social interaction. You get me into the mindset of the boys. You're gonna help me out, you little fuck. And he's like, I hate this.
I hate doing this so much. And the funny part is they used to be like really close when they were children. Like,
yeah.
Like I remember she had like recordings of like him saying like, "Oh, I love you, Nietzsche. I love you so much." And then he's looking back on it like, what the fuck was wrong with me?
I think my favorite one was when there's a recording of him saying, "When I grow up, I want to marry you." And she's like, "Stop." And he goes, "I think I'm gonna fucking vomit." Because like he looks at her now and goes like, yeah, that's what I wanted. This fucking train wreck. Oof. Remember that time like her father thought she was like taking care of herself, what with the massager and the game about the half naked men?
He probably had the best reaction to that situation.
That's a hero. That's a hero.
So the father comes in. She's basically like spread eagle across her bed. She has a massage, I think the massage thing in one hand.
That's a massage wand.
She has the massage wand. And then she has like I think it was the yaoi game that she was playing on TV. And he does not say a word when he walks in the room. He just turns off the TV, picks her up, places her on the bed, and just walks out.
Pieces out like a goddamn hero. I was like, you know what?
Don't say nothing.
No need to talk about this.
I could react a certain way to this. I could react in the way that your mother's probably expected me to react, but nah. You know, I don't want you to have therapy when you get older, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I love you, kiddo. You're okay. You're fine. This is just one mistake. And you'll be fine in the long term. And you know what? We don't have to talk about this. She gets up and she just goes like, "Wow, did I like what happened?" I remember like the last thing I was like playing the game and he had like his shirt off. Whatever.
Yup. Oh, I think later on the manga, that's the thing about the father. He hardly appears, but when he does, it's more along the lines like he's really concerned about her. But not.
I mean, I would be too.
He's always in her face about it. Like I think one time later on the manga, he pretty much just invites her to go fishing with him, and then he doesn't say a word the whole time. He's just like, "So how are you doing? How's school going?" And she's like, fine, I guess. He's like, you make any friends at all? He's like, sort of. He's like, that's good. And he just goes back to fishing.
I mean, I would be horribly concerned for her too, because Jesus Christ. If you have like a teenage daughter, and not only does she not even seem to give a shit about anything, but she's in her room all the time, and she's had to yell at her mom and call her a bitch and get smacked, and there's that time you found her probably having some personal time with like weird gay porn. There's like a lot of things you could bring up and talk about. But like, you know what? Let's just get it from you.
Yeah, I think he cares. He cares in his own way.
Yeah,
he cares
yeah.
He definitely.
It's not that he's distant. He's just like not sure how to process this.
I'm not sure how to process this, but I'm just gonna do it the only way I know how. I'm just gonna let it rock.
Gonna let it ride.
Just gonna let it ride.
I love that about her dad.
Gonna let it ride. And that's like. That's an even better foil compared to how her mother reacts to situations like that.
Oh yeah,
that's even better foil. She'll just straight up be like, "What the hell's wrong with you? Like, why are you like this?"
Jesus.
And you would, and as a person watching that, not only do you identify with Tomoko's situations, like, you just don't understand what I'm going through, like this strife that I have to, like, just be in that type of environment. But at the same time, you see where the mother's coming from. It's like, man, I don't know where I went wrong with raising this child, but
look, kiddo, you just need to grow up.
I gotta handle it. I do.
You need to grow up, is what it is. Because like everyone goes through that sort of like weird angsty teenage period.
Yeah, everybody has that phase. Everybody.
That's what I mean. But like mine was a little different. Mine was like an external, like, fuck it, if nothing matters, I'll just be a monster. Blah. And I was like a real dick for like a lot of my youth. But like now that I'm fucking older, I've gotten over that, and I realized that that's a shitty way to live my life. And then, you know what? Like, doing whatever I want without regards for others just kind of hurts other people recklessly, and that's a shitty thing to do for no reason. Even if nothing would matter, then that doesn't necessarily give you the right to just harm other people or to think ill of them. Everyone is the protagonist of their own stories. There's a bunch of shit going on that I'm not aware of at any given moment. And to that end, all I can do is, live my life in a way that would make me and the most amount of people possible comfortable. And it took me a very long time to get over that shit. I'll admit, like, almost all of my teenage years were me being really rough and shitty.
Yeah, because that lifestyle, the repercussions of it doesn't hit you until, like, really later on, that it not only is it harmful to yourself, but the people around you, because, all the time when you're getting raised up, you're always told by other people, not even your parents, but just like people that it's like, just be a good person. You don't have to be a saint. Just be a good person. Try to like treat people the way that you would want to be treated, and that's how it's going to be towards you. Just be a good person. You don't have to like donate to charity every week. You don't have to like walk an old lady across the street, because that's like the stereotype of like what a kind person is supposed to do, or just in general, that's what they think. But no, it's just making sure that you're just not a dick to people.
I would even go so further as to say that some people want to be good because they feel they'll be like gratified for it. Like,
they feel like they'll be rewarded or something. Yeah, like that.
And like that's not the point. You do the right thing because it's the right thing. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, I had to hit that point where I'm like, all right, so like, what if it doesn't mean like everyone's gonna fucking like kneel at my feet and say I'm great and whatever? I don't fucking need that. All I actually need is to be able to look in the mirror and go like, you know what? You weren't garbage today. Good job. Like, that's all I fucking need. And you know what? And I'm glad where I'm here now, where I'm working on it day by day, step at a time. And that's it. Everyone everyone goes through that. And after some point, you just kind of fucking grow up. And that's why, like, I can laugh at it, because Nico Tanigawa is a writing duo. Like, it's an artist and an author, and the author said explicitly that she took a lot of her youth into making this, because Mokochi is a lot of parts of what she was like at that age. But now she's a more well-rounded adult, and that's kind of, it's more just like, because you don't really see this kind of person in things in general, unless they're, like, actively an antagonist and they're a dick to everybody. for once you're sympathizing with them and following them and understanding that there's some shit wrong here, but eventually she'll be better. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of the grand end point of all this, which is why I bring up the manga so much. It's like the show, it ends on on another one of her fucking mistakes.
If I could say that.
That mistake is so fucking amazing. Like, she's talking to the Imae, the older girl who, like, she sort of groped in the costume, not realizing it. Yeah. And then, like, she's like, all right, I don't think she has friends. I should go talk to her. This is my chance. I can make a real friend. And, like, the wind blows and she sees up her skirt. And then Imae goes like, oh shit, that's crazy. So, like, hello? And then Mokochi just runs. She just runs. She runs and runs and runs and runs and runs. And she's out of breath and she keeps on running and running and running as, like, the opening thing is playing over it. Like, her fucking eyes get crossed. Like, she's not even really focusing. She's, like, drooling and shit. And she runs past Yuta, and Yuta goes like, oh shit, are you okay? It starts running after her too. But, like, you can't keep up. Because Mokoshi's just going for it. This is it. This is done. And then she goes back to reading that article again about unpopular girls and goes like, you know what? It's fine. And the narrator goes like, and her story has yet to be written. Because honest to God, this is just a part of her life. This isn't her life. This won't define her for the rest of her being. This is just a thing everyone has. And it's not the worst. It's not the worst thing in the world. As cheesy as it is to say with that trucking campaign, it gets better. You're fine. You're fine.
Absolutely.
This is you now. You'll be better tomorrow. And sure, it doesn't seem like it now, but if you read the manga, you see that she has friends and shit. It's like, yeah, she does get better. It just takes a long time for some people.
Yeah. It's a plight that I feel a lot of people can identify with because, we were all like that at one point. Yeah. Even though we don't want to admit it.
Yeah, and I guess that's why I like it at the end of the day, is because as much as she's a mess, as much as it's funny, she'll be fine. This isn't the end of the world. She'll be fine. And I guess that's fucking it. I don't really have anything to say besides like ending theme is amazing. There's some lines in there that are really wild.
Great, and it's sung by her.
Yeah.
Sung by her.
Izumi That's a good job. It's kind of hard when you're used to singing to actively make yourself sound bad. Because it never sounds genuine, you know? Most of the time when you're trying to sound like a specific way, you end up not doing super great at it. I guess that's a testament to her ability as a voice actress. Like, there's a part where she's supposed to hit a high note, and, like, you can hear that it sounds like she's fucking up and crackling her voice. But it sounds, like, perfect. It sounds like a girl who doesn't know how to sing and is just doing this in a room by herself. Like, she's really, really stretchy for that note. And I was like, oh, that's beautiful.
She's really trying to make sure that, I'm trying to hit those notes, but it's just not there.
That's some of the parts where she mumbles it out because she's, like, anxious. It's beautiful. It's really well put together, honestly.
Yeah, very well put together, very well performed. Like, she's a very talented voice actress, now that I think about it.
Skilled to do that kind of shit, man.
Very skilled to make that kind of delivery. And it's not even to, make sure that, this is actually staged. Like, I don't actually sound like this.
That's what I mean. It normally it sounds a little bit insincere, but this one sounded like really. It really sold the idea that Mokochi is a really awkward, weird, doofy girl, and who isn't used to this kind of shit. I like to imagine it as her at a karaoke place going like, "A room for one, please, just me," and then like fucking trying to sing her heart out. And then doing awfully.
Like, damn, you hear it every week. What the hell?
Yeah. God, remember that's why they stopped letting people in alone, because they're not going to leave. If you just let them in alone, they might just sit there all day.
Yeah.
I miss when you could go to a karaoke place alone and just sing stupid Pantera songs and shit and get super hyped and leave when my throat was blown out. All right, anyway, I guess that's it, right? We're all wrapped up. Whew, that was good. Now here comes the hard part. The food that was best.
I don't got anything else to add, Isaiah. You probably don't.
The food, yeah. So
I
think the theme for the food should be something that looks gross but tastes really good at the end. Or it's gonna
Okay.
taste good.
Along the lines like a food that you ate when you were really younger.
Let's see. Something that either looks awful and tastes great, or that you used to like but you don't like as much anymore. Ooh. Ah, man.
That could be, I was thinking about that could be anything.
I mean, yeah, but it's still like ultimately we're gonna relate it to food. So ah, this is not easy. Well, sometimes yes, more so than others. It's been really difficult. Fuka, Isaiah knocked it out of the park. Didn't have to think about that one. That one was perfect. But I don't know. Jesus Christ. Isaiah, anything?
Alright, I have a few guesses.
Oh wow, okay.
But did you guys ever have tiramisu?
Also, I would say, do you think tiramisu looks awful?
I think when the first time you had it was like, what is this? Doesn't look that great.
Really? Oh, that's funny. I looked at it and I was like, oh no, this is a really pretty thing. I bet it's not gonna taste amazing.
It had like multiple layers, and yeah, it tasted really good. But also mud pie.
What is
Mud
that?
pie?
I'm
What is
unfamiliar.
It's like a chocolate pie, but with like a cheesecake on top of it, and
Really?
chocolate.
That doesn't sound like that would
Mud
look
pie.
awful.
I had never heard that.
It looks
Mud
like mud. That's the
pie.
point.
It's basically like what, heavy layered chocolate and whatnot.
Yeah, and a cheesecake.
Hmm.
I think that could work. It looked super gross, but once you take a bite in it, it's like kind of sweet.
The only problem is that I think Makochi show, whatever it's called, is like much.
Whatever.
I think it's much deeper. Like it could be like a meat, not just like a candy or sweet. That's like the problem.
But it could be but it doesn't have to be like sweet or just tart. Like
it's gotta be representative of the show. So the show is like kind of dense. So like the amount of stuff you could think about it is like there's a lot going into it. So yeah, I think going with something that's not a sweet would probably work better.
All right.
Do you really do another alcohol? Oh yeah.
I'm gonna throw this out here. Has anyone eaten risotto?
Risotto. I'm afraid not.
Okay, do you know
like
what
lasagna?
it is? No, it is Italian though, so you're somewhere along the right way.
Yeah, it's Italian dish if I remember correctly. I think it's like shrimp and like rice and stuff like that.
Well, it's like paella, but if paella were goo. And it looks weird.
Oh wait, yeah,
I don't know. It's always looked super weird to me. It looks. This sounds probably kind of mean, but it always kind of looked like puke to me.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, I get where you're going now.
It's like weird and gooey and gross looking, and it's like, oh, what the fuck is this? But then, like, I took a bite, and I'm like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. I'm loving this. This is a lot better than I would have expected from what I was looking at.
I would definitely have that impression.
And it's usually made with, like, cheese and butter and wine and shit. And it's like, there's so much in there. And you're like, it's kind of hefty. It's kind of like stew-like. Which is why I bring the analogy of, like, saying, like, I don't know, like, salsa, like the okazu, like, the fucking rice thing.
Uh-huh.
Kind of reminds me of that, but it's Italian, and it just kind of looked like puke to me when I first saw it. Like, it's goo paella.
Yeah. I can actually imagine it perfectly. Yeah, but
does that work?
That works. It looks like throw up, but when you actually take a bite, it actually is pretty fucking good. And then you find out there's all these like cool ingredients thrown in to like give it that taste. So yeah,
so much going on there.
Yeah.
All right, risotto.
Not too far from like what I had in mind.
Watamote is a risotto. Okay.
Watamote is risotto.
Watamote tastes like risotto.
Yeah. It leaves that same kind of taste in your mouth. They're like, oh, wow, this is good. Ooh, there's a lot going on there, though.
Like,
there's a lot to unpack.
Not what I was expecting at all.
Yeah. Okie dokie. So I guess that's it for Manga Palate this week. We would like to give special thanks to our guest, Master Specialist Jones.
Thank you, Master Specialist Jones Sabina.
Thank you,
today.
because if you weren't here, there would be literally nothing for me to do. It'd just be Isaiah sitting there quietly while I gush about this show. Isaiah just saying like, okay.
You guys are very welcome. You guys are awesome for having me. Thank you so much.
We might invite you again for another episode of some other dumb bullshit Isaiah doesn't want to watch.
Hey, if it's that or anything, you know where to find me.
Yeah, we do. All right. So, as is our usual goodbye on Manga Palate, if you're still listening, you get it.
You guys get it.
Get it.
Thanks for
listening.
Bye-bye.